Okay, so let me put up my little participants. So if you're new to this class, this is Name That Error. Name That Error is a game that Lisa created where we show you loan documents with errors and you get to tell us what's wrong with them. So the goal and the objective is to identify signing agent notary errors. I added in a few kind of tricky ones today that'll really make you have to look at the doc. These are some common errors that are easy to make. And then there's some ones we've seen before in the past and then some new ones. So how it'll work is that I've got Kyler. He's one of our employees, one of our favorites, been with us a long time. He's our DJ today. So what you're gonna do is raise your virtual hand. So on the participants, you should see a little more button that allows you to raise your virtual hand. Lisa's also a co-host, so she can check if there's anybody, Lisa, that you see is in the gallery and they're raising their physical hand, make sure to let me know. That way we can call on them. But I'll call on people in the participants box who raised their virtual hand, and Kyler will unmute you and you get a chance to name that error. So, all right, let's get started. We're just going to jump right into it. All right, so here is a note. So note, most important document in the set, right? When we give this to the borrower, this is the one they really want to look at and make sure it looks good. So what's wrong with it? There's a few things. All right, let's go for Angie. You there, Angie?
Yes,
there you go.
The stamp is on the line.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's a good one. Very good. All right, there are two more. One is really tricky because it's one of those things that we don't want, you know, it's like, it's hard because it's a signer thing, but there's two more things. So let's go for Selena in Tillamook.
Hi.
Hey.
So they crossed out the date on the note and they wrote over a new date.
Yes, exactly. So creation dates. We don't want to cross out creation dates. That's just the day they were created, right? It doesn't mean that that's when the contract became effective. That's just the creation date. Very good. There's one more thing. What do you guys think? Let's go for Leah.
So I can see that she didn't put, or he, a middle name, but it's listed on the note.
Yes, so that's right. So that's what we're looking at, the signature here. So see, Christine Acosta, yet the signature line says Christine Acosta Anderson. So let's break this down a little bit. So yeah, the note, most important document, like we covered, you don't stamp the note. That seal there, it'll say sealed kind of covered here because I stamped it. That seal is just referring to the notary, or not the notary, the signer's signature. So when you see seal next to the borrower's signature line, this is only referring to their signature. You actually technically, legally can't stamp things that aren't notarizations, and the note does not have a notarization. So very good. We also mentioned that creation dates, absolutely don't cross off creation dates. The only ones you can cross out are for the notice of right to cancel. Even if it's in the past, that's okay, leave it, okay? And then that last one, which Lisa, feel free to chime in if you'd like. This has been a big error that our clients have complained about, is the borrower's undersigning.
Yeah, we have a client, School's First Credit Union, and you can just about guess any credit union especially is going to ask us for a redraw for free. If the signer refuses to sign, in this case, Christine Acosta Anderson, you need to alert us so that we can let everyone know they're refusing to do that. Oversigning is okay. Undersigning, never okay, ever okay.
Well, there are some lenders who will accept it, but you should scream until someone hears you, right? If the borrower refuses to. But yeah, for credit unions, won't get accepted, will get rejected.
And you kind of think of it like covering yourself. So Virginia's right. There are some lenders, because an email came out to me this last week saying particularly Schools First Credit Union was complaining because there's been some undersigning, which delays everything for them. And then another of the escrow agents wrote, well, it's not a problem for us. Well, that was useful and all, but to me as a signing agent, why don't we just get it down right the first time, have them sign exactly as it says. And again, if they refuse, put it, either try to call us. If it's after hours, we still answer the phone. At least put it in the website site in SampDoc saying the borrower refused to sign Christina Costa Anderson. That way you're covering yourself. And the goal is you don't want anything to stick on you. So just let us know. And then that's up to everyone else to go, what the heck? Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I answered some of the questions. What if they don't sign with their middle name? Again, that's the way the previous vesting was. And they have to match the previous vesting. If they're wanting to change it to Christina Costa, then they have to go and get a grant deed done, changing it from one vesting to the other. So although, and the question, we legally ask them to change their natural signature? Well, I don't know what natural signature. I mean, everyone who has a name should know, for the most part, know how to sign their full name. So you can.
And you're not forcing them, but this is what I always say. The lender wants you to sign exactly as the signature line dictates. If you sign and you'll know first signature, right? Do they sign a cursive signature like Christine, where you can clearly tell she signed first and middle, she didn't sign last? They're going to want to sign the full name. If they refuse, that's when you let everybody know. You might need to stop the sign. Now, I wouldn't stop in terms of leave, but call every contact you have. Make sure that gets approved. Cover your back. Right, Lisa? Oh, she's gone.
There you go. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was on mute.
Okay, cool. Very, very good. All right, next up. And if you have any questions, I'm getting ahead of myself. Leave them in the chat or comments, or you can save it for our question and answer portion, right? Okay, next up, this is a right to cancel. What is missing? So like those pictures where there's two pictures and you're supposed to identify what's missing in them. This is a real life sample of what's missing on these docs. So we have the signed copy to the left, and we have what was on the PDF to the right. All right, Jesse Thompson, let's go for you. You there, Jesse? Oh, there you are. Jesse, you there? I see you're unmuted, but I don't see any noise. Movement. Okay, Jesse, we'll get you on the next one. Let's go for Kiana in Denver. You there, Kiana? Oh, there you are.
Hi there. Sorry, I was trying to unmute from my phone, but I raised my hand on my computer. Sorry. Sadly, the barcode was cut off.
That's it.
On
Good job.
the copy on the left-hand side.
Yep, that's right. Good job. All right, and so that's what it is. You see that barcode? What happened there? So you want to beware of cutoffs. Review the PDF online with what's printing to ensure nothing is cut off or missing on the forms. Especially do you do this on legal documents? So are you printing on legal? Did you print on letter? Is all the legal cut off? Or even if you printed on legal, sometimes your printer settings aren't set up right, and everything is going to get scooched down. So this is a real life error. This happened 2 days ago. Took an entire day to get corrected, and the lender everyone was all fired up. So what's so funny about this one, this notary is a great notary. Worked with us, done many signings. I think on his profile, he's done 60 signings, and yet this still happened. So it's an easy miss on this one because none of the wording is missing. It's just that barcode. So that's where you really want to compare. You don't have to compare every document, but you can kind of flip through and you'll be able to see it. Oh no, we've got someone drawn on our screen. Oh well, we're just gonna have to deal with that, you guys. Oh well, very good. Lisa, anything to add on that one?
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay, very good. All right, so real estate servicing payment authorization form. This one's not going to be in every set. This is one we're going to actually really have to look at. What I want you to do is review this form, see what was checked, read where the majority of the information was added, and then tell me what should have been included with this form, or what should be included. All right, let's go for Leah.
It says you're supposed to attach a voided check.
That's right. Very, very good, Leah. This one is an error we get, I'd say, every day for one particular credit union. Basically, what this form is that the borrowers can decide if they want to have their payments automatically withdrawn from their account at the time of signing. So wouldn't that be great, right? You sign your refinance docs and you don't even need to worry about your first payment because you've already set it up. So it's a really nice form. But let's go back. My computer is like going crazy here today. Okay, so the signer chose other financial institutions. So they didn't want their payment to come from their credit union who they were refinancing with bank account. They wanted it to come from Big Bank USA, some fake bank I made up. If they choose that other financial institution, just like Leah brought out, an unsigned voided check is required and must accompany this form for all financial institutions set up requests. So if you get this signed and don't include that, don't tell the signers, don't guide them and say, I need you to provide a voided check. About 2-3 days later, we're going to call you and say, so this form, you didn't have the borrower provide that voided check. And the truth is signers aren't going to always know about this at the time of signing. It really is our job to know these forms and guide them and help them. So nothing is more awkward than calling a borrower back and saying, hey, I need a voided check, right? You don't want to have to do that because it's a few days later. They might go, why do you need that? They're not going to understand. Sometimes they're skeptical. So in advance, we want to do that. If the borrower doesn't have voided checks, then they probably can't check this option, right? Or they might have to arrange a drop off at a later date. Again, communication is vital. That way, when it comes the time when they're like, where's that voided check? They already know, okay, borrower's going to drop it off later on. Or the borrower didn't choose that option because they couldn't choose that option. They didn't have the voided check, or they didn't want to choose that option. But this happens every day. And it's one of those awkward, horrible errors. It's hard to get corrected after the fact. So that's a little heads up on that one. Okay, next up. All right, here is less of a, hold on, let me clear all our drawings. This is less of a error and more of a, tell me what's wrong here. So this is the statement. Refinance loan signing was completed on Monday, December 6th, 2021 at 11 a.m. Scan of signed docs was received on December 7th at 9 p.m. Notary shipped docs using a cardboard FedEx envelope. Docs arrived to escrow Friday, December 10th. So what happened here? What is the matter on this one? There's a few things that really were kind of like no good. All right, let's go for it's the iPhone. So it's someone who jumped on their iPhone, the 714 number.
Hello.
You there? Hey.
Yeah, hi. It looks like the scan was done late.
Yeah, Yep, that's one of them. Absolutely. Signing signed Monday, 11 a.m. Escrow needs those scans within a few hours, and it was signed the following day at 9 p.m. Yikes. Okay, there's two more things. One thing is not so much an error, but kind of like a, ooh, kind of scary. Let's go for Debbie.
So the signing was done on the 12th at 11 a.m. They
On the 6th.
scanned and sent the docs at 9 p.m. on the 7th. Yet the FedEx shipment arrived on Friday morning, the 10th. I don't know about your area, but in my area, FedEx doesn't accept documents after 9 p.m. for next day delivery. So it seems like they shipped them before they scanned them, and how's that possible?
Okay, so I think you're seeing the date a little bit wonky on this. On this, the date was December, so 12/6/2021. So they
But
signed
the-
on Monday.
The scan was done on the 7th at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
Oh, and then they didn't ship for a day or two because it arrived on the 10th.
That's right. Very good, Debbie. That's it.
Right, and in this case, I don't think it's this specific because Jenny's made this up, but I will say that I wrote a check on Tuesday for $1,263.54 because the notary held the documents for 5 days. There was a rate lock that the company had to pay for. So
Yeah.
holding on to docs is not good at all.
Yeah. So this is a made up example, but it's based off of just many real life examples. Yeah. So your signing's Monday, 11 a.m. Ship those docs the same day. That's plenty of time. Most FedEx is what, 3 o'clock, 4 or 5 cutoff time, right? There's one more kind of no, not a blatant error because most of the time you get away with it. But does anyone know about this FedEx envelope situation? What do you guys think? Maybe Pam? No.
Cardboard envelope.
Yeah,
Bad.
that's it. There you go. Very good, Pam. All right, so let's give you some scanning and shipping tips.
Real
If scan back-
quickly,
Oh, sure.
I wanted to let you know, because I know Jesse had a hard time. Jesse also put in use a plastic envelope.
Very good, Jesse. Yep, that's it. And that's one of those things that I'll be real with you. For 10 years of my career, I lived on the edge. I'd put 200 pages in those little skinny cardboard envelopes with few issues. But I'll tell you, it's happening more and more. There are issues. And we'll go more into that in the next slide. But let's do some scanning and shipping tips. So if a client is requesting scans, follow through. Neglecting to scan can delay loan funding. Lots of lenders can fund a loan based off of those scans. So do it right away. Scan back within 2 hours if possible. Ship immediately afterwards. So if you could do it same day. Now, if you're a notary and you're booking yourself, you might need to get creative, right? So you might need to have a mobile scanner or be able to scan quickly before your next signing and then ship out. So maybe a little bit of coordination. Ship same day if possible. And if you can't do any of these things on time, communicate the moment you know it. That way we can let our clients know and they can give them, we can give them a heads up. And then, boy, my computer is so sensitive today. Everything I do, I'm just can't seem to get away with just touching one button. Okay, so, and then just like Jesse and Pam brought out, use the right size and type envelope. FedEx, especially this time of year, is experiencing lost and missing packages all the time. Or what's even worse, packages come back. A cardboard envelope is opened, docs are partially missing. It happened this week and it's a real pain in the butt. So you can protect your documents by using the right size envelope and type. Anything over 60 pages, you want to use either a sturdy pack. Sturdy packs are cardboard, but they're super, as the name suggests, sturdy and large. So where there's, the likelihood of it opening is super rare. Or with those plastic, like Jesse brought out, those polyurethane poly packs, those are the best. Those aren't going to get opened unless something very strange happens. And before shipping off, seal that package. And why do I say that? Well, just the other day I was in a rush and I almost forgot to seal it. And then there goes that doc, right? Never see that doc again. Or maybe you'll see it in like 3 months from now, which is useless, right? in our industry. All right, very, very good, guys.
Plus, we had 2 incidences where FedEx had some kind of the docs were missing. And in both incidences within, I mean, 2 days possibly, the borrowers got so angry that they threatened to go to their attorney. Now, I doubt if an attorney's going to take the case on a missing FedEx package. Really, like what's, I just saying, but we want the experience for the borrower to always be positive, right? So if we just take the time to go up and say, hey, I need a bunch of these envelopes, they'll give them to you. They used to do it over line for free if you have an account. I'm unsure if they still do or not. I haven't asked, but they'll give you as many as you need when you go to a FedEx location. So make sure you have plenty, because lawsuits, although are interesting to me, I would prefer not to, be threatened with them if I could possibly be.
And remember too, is that you might think, well, that's on FedEx. Yeah, but FedEx is the biggest shipping corporation, right? There's no accountability there. They'll go, we're very sorry. That's it. That's the end of it, right? So escrow is going to put it on us. Clients are going to put it on us, because we can't, we can blame escrow or FedEx, but that ain't going to solve anything, right? So we just have to protect ourselves. Another note that isn't in the name the error, but I like to mention, as always, drop off at a manned location where you can get a receipt if at all possible. Avoid, if possible, Walgreens, Dollar General, Staples, those kind of places. Sometimes you have to. So for those that in the areas where there's just no authorized FedEx shipping, that is not those, you can do that. But if you can, go to a FedEx, go to a postal annex that runs every day like clockwork. Some of these Dollar Generals will wait until they get about 10 packages and then they'll call FedEx out. So then your docs are sitting there for eternity and everyone's mad.
I actually picked up a package from a Walgreens the other day, and it was horrible because they had, who has the keys to the cabinet we keep them in, and then they opened them in front of me, and there's all these packages in there. All I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, they've been in there for 5 days and they're probably all ours. So I get yelled at a lot. It's terrible. Yeah. Somebody did say, okay, I misunderstood, because Leah Fish said that she had to use a cardboard box, which are super expensive, but then she clarified and said it was a cardboard envelope. And all I would say is, if they don't have it available, just have some Scotch tape in your car and just tape the crap out of the, the top of them if you can, because that's what happens. They just open.
It's the edges and sometimes the seals. So one strip of tape will do it. Very good. All right. 1040. What's wrong with it? These are not in every loan. Let's go for Christy.
It should be signed.
There you go. Yeah, this is an easy one, but I'll tell you, every week we get multiple of these. They're not in every loan. So that's why you're not going to see it every time. And these tax forms are always complicated, right? There's all these cells. It looks like who knows what they do with them. They just need to sign it. Most likely it's a copy. Very good. Next up, well, this is me just say it. If it's present, always have the borrower sign. And if they're like, well, who signs where? Well, the borrowers will know, right? They'll have their title there. So one person's going to be retired, and one person's an executive. So sign and date. Always make sure that's done. If you don't, we're going to call you. We're going to say, hey, you need to go back and get this signed. And it's just a pain. Not hard, it's just a pain. All right, very good. Next up is a letter of explanation, an LOE. Have you ever seen something like this? We don't even need to talk about what it says. It could say anything. All right, go for Debbie.
It also should be signed.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So you guys might think, well, these are easy. I'll tell you another one, LOEs. We get these back every single day, included in the docs, not signed. Why? Because it doesn't look like a traditional loan doc, right? That's just the reason. Have them signed and dated. That's another thing. Sometimes they want them dated as well. So just be safe, cover your back. If it looks like the borrowers wrote the letter, sometimes the borrower won't have wrote it. They're like, I didn't write this, but is it true? Does the lender possibly need it to fund? Is it some kind of an underwriting requirement? Have them sign and date it. Very important. Like I said, every day we get these back and it's like, it's not the end of the world, but it has to get done and it's just a pain. And for you guys too. And a lot of notaries will be like, oh, no big deal. It still's got to get done. And our client's going to be saying, this is our third request. Hurry up, we need this one. So you see a letter of explanation. That's what it's called. It might even not say the word letter of explanation, but if it looks like a letter that explains something, sign it. Very, very good. Okay, here's another. Okay, this one's kind of hard, but we'll see who gets it. This is a what is wrong here. All right, let's describe it. So we have this completion status at the top, just saying successful. Oh, just says successful. That's the only note. So they updated the website and put successful. The docs came back and it looked like this. What do you guys think is wrong here? Or what happened and what maybe shouldn't have happened? This one's a hard one, guys. All right, let's go for Terry.
Okay, the signature on the left-hand side is correct, but the right side signature, it has just El Duesa, however you pronounce that name.
Yeah.
The attorney, in fact, is not a part of that signature. So it was an oversignature.
Yeah, like that would make you think, what happened here? Exactly. Very good. You got it. So it appears, and this is another real life sample that I am currently getting yelled at as of this morning. So it appears that in this situation, the signer wanted to sign as POA for his wife, but it's not pre-printed. Just like Terry said, it's not part of that signature line. So why did he just put successful when something very out of the norm happened? Right. So let's talk about POA signings a little bit. So what is a POA if you're brand new and never heard of one? So a power of attorney is a legally binding document. It grants a certain person power over another person's assets, medical decisions, all sorts of items. In the event the person is incapacitated or unable to sign or make certain decisions. In cases where the signer is unable to conduct their business, maybe there is a medical issue, right? Or maybe they're out of the country or they're in the army or there's all sorts of reasons, a POA may be used, but it must be approved by the lender. So in the previous example, the signature line didn't say it, it's probably not approved. So almost 99% of the time, it's incredibly rare that that pre-printed wording is not on there and they want you to sign like that. So 99% of the time, the wording is pre-printed on the signature line. That's how we know it got approved. So if the borrower, you're at the signing table, there's no POA signature line, right? It looks like this one right here. If the borrower says, hey, LOEs really can't sign, but I have POA, so we're gonna sign like that. You stop what you're doing. Stop the signing, confirm with everyone, contracting company, signing company, escrow, lender, whoever I would say escrow and signing company first, because in this example, the lender apparently knew and just never drew up the docs, really weird. But you wanna stop what you're doing because that signature line is gonna have the POA 99.9% of the time. And another thing, keep detailed notes. So like if I was that notary, and someone said, yes, sign as POA. And you're like, are you sure it doesn't have the signature line verbiage? That's kind of weird. I would have said, borrower is, insisting that we sign this way. I've called this many people. Can we do this? Is this allowed? If they would have done that, what's now going to have to incur, which is a unwinding of the loan, is not going to have to happen. So it's going to save a lot of time if you leave very detailed notes. Communication, right? And I'll show you, this is my little example of what the signature line is going to look like. It's going to have all that verbiage. And signing is easy because you just have to copy that signature line. Exactly. You say, okay, you just sign exactly like that signature line reads. So very good, you guys. All right, Lisa, anything to add on that one?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. Yeah. POAs are a pain, but you can do them and just communicate. It's real key, and follow the signature line. But make sure it's pre-printed with all that good stuff. All right, here's a subordination agreement. Quick note on subordination, they are always notarized, even if a notarization isn't present. But in this case, we have a notarization. What's wrong with this picture? Does anyone catch any weird issues or notary problems? Let's go for Selena.
Hi there.
Hey.
I noticed that on November 23rd, 2020, but she's written where it says before me, she has her entire notary name and taking across the whole line. And she does not have in there who it is that personally appeared to her.
That's it, Selena. You did it. This was a real funky one. Another real life example.
Was it really 2020? Was that an error as well?
Yeah, it actually was 2020.
Okay.
This is just okay. And this is a really great example of COVID delays. So we just got this error and it's over a year ago. So what happened was they just now got to recording this subordination agreement. This rejection came back from the county. And so we're having to go to the notary a year later and say, hey, do you remember this one signing you did? Right? Kind of weird, but it happens all the time. We call those post-closing rejections. But exactly, Selena had it. She filled it in wonky. So where it said on, she should have lifted that up, right? And should have put November 23rd, 2020. And before me, that's where she should have put her own notary name. And then of course you have to put the signers you notarized, right? In every notarization, you will always put the signers that you notarized. So she missed those. So this is being rejected because the formatting is off. She should have lifted all that up and the signers' names weren't printed. And like I said,
Jenny is Xing out things that we don't want you to see, names. Like we don't, if this particular notary, we don't want, if she's on here or anything, we don't want her information on here.
yeah.
Or him, whatever.
Yeah, but if anybody that I show an error on is ever on here and it's yours, this is not a judgment. We're going to learn from each other, right? If you watch any of our videos, all I do is talk about all the crazy mistakes that I've made my entire career. And I just know that you need my knowledge because I've made those mistakes where you don't have to, right? So that's why it's like we need each other to learn from each other's mistakes. And that's where it's like, it's not a competition. We're all going to make them. Don't be embarrassed. Some of my favorite student attendees are the ones who are like, yeah, I made that mistake, because now we can relate to each other and be better. So no judgment here. I've made them all, and probably more embarrassing ones. I haven't even told you all my stories. That's why we keep doing these classes. Okay, so then we have another note. What is weird on this note? All right, let's go for Jesse. You there, Jesse? I know we're having a little trouble on the muting. Do you want to type your answer in the chat? Let's give Jesse a minute to type his answer. Lisa, can you check the chat out?
I'm looking.
Okay. By the way, these names, Jasmine Menchaca and Omar Menchaca, those are my step relatives. And I am not creative at all, so I have to use my relatives as my samples.
Jesse said, other person, add to note, should be one person, just Jasmine. Right
Yep.
on.
That's right. So this will happen maybe with a new notary who's like, I wonder why their name's not there. Well, in this case, Jasmine's the only one on the note. You don't want to add someone on the note. This will be an automatic rejection. So you're never going to ever alter the note, ever, never, right, Lisa? Like, if you have to alter the note, it's a redraw.
That's right. That's right. But sometimes wives or husbands will think, well, why isn't my name here, without realizing that they're just vested on the deed, that they don't have any obligation towards the note. And they don't know that. So you take your cue by looking at the first page of the deed of trust or mortgage, depending on the state you live in. Look at who's vested there, then you'll know who needs to sign the note.
Exactly. And that's why understanding the loan process is so important. No, you're not going to walk them through every step of it, but that'll help you from making these kind of mistakes. If you know that sometimes there are people who are on the deed, they're not borrowing. So they're non-borrowing persons. Those non-borrowing persons don't sign forms that obligate them to the loan, right? Because they're not borrowing any money. So
Selena found another error, Jenny.
Oh, cool. What is it?
The spelling of Jasmine's name. You spelled Jasmine in her signature. You added an E to it.
Yeah, that's a good catch. That was not an intentional error, but what if it was? That's just me not knowing how to spell people's names. But let's say it was. What if she was not known as Jasmine without the E, but she, this was right. What could she have done? Well, we might need to stop the signing, call someone and say, hey, just so you know, the signature line says Jasmine without an E, but her ID says Jasmine with an E. Can she cross the signature line off? We can ask escrow, right? We can ask our client. Are we going to need a redraw? So that's pretty good, Selena. Or Celine, I think that that's a good eye. And yeah, and that's where we're looking at some people's signatures too. Now, in this case, this was just, I signed it this way and didn't put the signature line that way, but being observant while you're signing. And eventually you're so quick, it's not like every signature you're going to have to stare at for a long time, but you're just going to be able to see patterns in how they sign. And you can kind of, bring that to people's attention. And maybe you should just say, oh, I just added an extra little E at the end. I don't know why, no reason. Okay, that's fine. As long as the ID matches the signature line. But very good. I love when you guys catch my own errors.
Monique O'Neill said they can also add it to the AKA statement, which is true.
Yeah, that's something that many lenders will accept.
I've also been enjoying watching Jennifer Becker drive around town.
Well, hey, what else are you doing in the car, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably on the way to a signing. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I would do too. And that's why people say, oh, I can't join the class. Yeah, you can. You don't have to look, just listen to us.
That's right.
All right, here's another one, guys. Signature name affidavit. There's a few things weird on this one. Let's go for Christy.
The commission date's missing. No
Yep.
initials on the venue.
Yep. Very good. There's two more things. What two more things do we see here? Anyone want to go? All right, let's go for Andrew.
So I guess this is more technical for California specifically, but it's not proper jurat language.
Ah,
very good.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even add because I didn't think anyone would get it, but yeah. So in California, you have to have a little box at the very top that is specific to California. It basically says that the notary is just notarizing the borrower's signature and their identity and not the truthfulness of the statement. That's very, very good. And there is two more other things. Let's try the iPhone 7.1. Oh, iPhone's gone. Terry.
Okay. What I've noticed too is there's no initials on the markouts of the California and the County of Orange.
Yep.
And
So,
then the date down at the bottom says
Uh-huh.
17th day of December. It's supposed to be 2021 instead of 21.
yeah, that's a little thing, but that's always nice when we do it the full date. That's for sure. Okay, there's a big thing that's missing that no one is caught yet. And I'll tell you the reason this is a big error that we get every single day. What's the big thing that's missing? Let's try Nikita.
Hello?
Yeah, hey.
Hey, actually, I'm not sure what else is missing. I was gonna say the same thing that the previous lady said about the date 2021. So I'm not
Okay.
sure what the other thing is.
Okay. Remember, this is a jurat. So that's a little hint. This is a jurat. This is a notarization. What is always in a notarization? Always, always, always. Let's see, Kiana.
Could you hear me going, ooh, 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 through the computer screen?
I did. That's why I got a call on Kiana.
All right. So the commission expiration date, your notary
Mhm.
stamp, and
Yep.
because it's a jurat, we're going to assume that this amazing notary has given the oath, but you
Yeah.
also want to be sure to disable the lines in the area of the actual
Yeah.
affidavit.
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. So you added a few more things. We got almost everything, one other thing missing, but let's go to our page here. Good job, you guys. And you added some things that I didn't even expect y'all to add. So that's very impressive. So correction, see that top correction there? Never known as. Any corrections that are made by the signer, by you as the notary, must be initialed. Always, always. This recently came back, easy fix, right? But kind of an annoying fix. It's like, hey, borrower, can you initial this one form and scan it back to me? You know, it's a little annoying. So just always, it's just like a principle of loan signing. All corrections must be initialed, always. If it's on a notarization, that's for you. If it's for the borrower, that's for them. Also, Kiana brought out kind of crossing off these additional lines. You could do that absolutely, because it's an affidavit. You don't want someone possibly adding something later on. Wouldn't stop the signing, but it's or the funding, absolutely, but it's a little notary thing, right? If you're a really good notary. Same with that, giving that oath, right? Jurats, the borrowers are actually promising the truthfulness of that statement. So some states have very specific oath wording. Others just basically, you got to say, do you promise the truthfulness of this form, or something along those lines? In one of our classes, Notary's Choice, we actually talk about your options. So visit that video if you don't know about providing oaths, which I know lots of notaries are not doing. So watch that video. Another thing that Andrew mentioned, which, well, once again, I'm going wild, my computer. Andrew mentioned that box. Again, California notaries have a little box that they have to add above these notarizations. So our options is, if that we're given an acknowledgement that doesn't have that box or a jurat, we can purchase a little stamp and we can simply add that stamp there. Stamps are cheap, right? You can probably get it made. Or you can add a loose all-purpose acknowledgement and replace it right behind the form. Now, this notarization is a mess. Notary didn't initial the venue change. The commission expiration date wasn't added, and the stamp was not added. So remember, all notarizations must be stamped. And probably our number one error is missing stamps. So triple check your docs. That's just called going too fast, right? So before you, this is our process. If you've watched the NSA process videos, you'll know it. When you're at the signing table, as you're signing, you're quality controlling. That is technically when you need to be filling in your notarizations in front of the signer. That's what regulation states, right? Though some people neglect to do that, which happens. There's no notary police, so no one's gonna call them on you. But that's when you're supposed to fill them in. Before you leave, you tell the signers, give me just a few minutes to make sure I signed everything perfectly. When you phrase it like that, nobody's ever going to get annoyed at you, you know? You're protecting them. So then that's when you go through them. And then before you drop them off in FedEx, So maybe when you get into your car again, before you leave the neighborhood, quality control. And then you can put them on the envelope and forget about them. So these are the errors. Why did I say, even mention this? Because this form, and it's funny because it took us a while to realize the stamp wasn't there. I don't know what about this form it is, but this form gets notaries neglect to stamp it almost every day. It's maybe just the format. I don't know. It happens all the time. Best notaries too. Good notaries will miss it. So slowing it down, right? Keeping that in the front of your mind because it's gonna happen to you. It just will. It's happened to me, every notary. So good job, everybody. All right, guys, we're making our way through our slides. What is wrong here? So you get on the order. This is a specific order. There's special instructions here at the top that say if the borrower is signing individually and as trustee of their trust, please review trust instructions uploaded here. Should the package not be signed exactly as indicated, there will be a redraw, re-sign appointment. This is extremely important. Here are those instructions. They were uploaded as a PDF. See the way they need to sign? What's the error? You see the signature page right there. Christy?
He forgot to include the name of the trust following
Yeah.
his, yep, so it should be Michael A. Smith. Would he just put a comma, trustee of the Michael A. Smith Trust under trust? Or would
Yeah.
he have to say individually and as trustee?
So that's where reviewing these trust instructions is so important. So let's go to the next slide. So the trust instructions told us if the signature line reads John Doe individually and as trustee, he actually has to sign individually and as trustee. If the signature line just said John Doe as trustee, he had to sign comma trustee. So in this case, this is a right to cancel. Michael A. Smith individually and as trustee. That's how it ought to be signed. So this is one particular lender. It's kind of rare for this to be the instruction. So the point is that whatever the instruction is, you have to review the order special instructions and follow them. So in this, and this is a real life example that happened with one particular client. We've actually lost this client. And one of these reasons is because notaries were refusing to read the instructions and look at the signing instructions. There were multiple reasons why that client's no longer with us, but that was a big one. So every lender is different when it comes to signing in a trust. Some lenders, if the pre-printed trustee verbiage is there under the signature line, they don't want anything. Others want this statement. Others want that entire verbiage, including the trust name and the date and all of that. The point is review special instructions. Search the loan docs for trust signing instructions. Like in this example, this was a separate form that was uploaded to the site. So the notary printed this form, never looked at it, never looked at it. If you can't find any instructions for how to sign as trustee, you want to search the docs, like I said, look for separate forms, look for closing instructions in the loan docs, look on the order for the file and the special instructions and the general instructions. And if you can't find anything, you want to scream until you get an answer. So whoever hired you, bug them until they give you an answer, and then sign consistently throughout according to their instructions. So this is a everyday kind of a thing we deal with. Lisa, anything to add on this one?
Yeah, I think just what you, just to reiterate, is that every lender is different. Wells Fargo doesn't want to see anything that has to do with trust. They just want the name. They're all different. The credit unions seem to be the pickiest, really, when it comes to the trustee thing, verbiage. But you certainly would never put Michael A. Smith trustee when it actually says individually and trustee. So just asking, how would you like us to sign, or first double check any special instructions that would be in the loan docs. With the client that no longer is using us as of last Friday, it was like the second page. So it had the notaries just looked at the second page of the documents, they would have seen it, and so, and it just happened a lot. a lot. So we just have to remember, we're not robots. You know, every file is a little different. Every file has a few things that may be just different nuances that we need to really be looking for and reading.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so we're closing out in a few minutes. Let's check this loan application out. What is the matter with this loan app? Okay, let's go for Wanda.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Okay, first of all, they did not initial
Yeah,
in the
right.
type of credit area.
That's right. Very good. So the new loan application is a pain because every lender is a little different, but if there's multiple borrowers, so if the borrower is applying for joint credit with another person, they always initial section 1A, always. Not both signers don't need to initial, just one signer needs to initial there. They each have their own loan application. So that's when missed all the time. Yeah, all the time. Very good.